Hi guys, Grudy's Race and Resto. Sunday Funday. Not really. I think it's Tuesday. But anyway, thought I'd show you some typical E34 shit. So do an oil pan. Yeah, I've already washed it. That's a little bit of shit out of the oil level sensor. This is the shit you find in the bottom, and this is the stuff that it does in your M60B40 oil pan. So we found typical oil pump bolt, which is normal. And then we found this M6 bolt. So now I have to attempt to find where that comes from. I'll show you. Have a look at this. Let's lay under this sucker. Oh, you the old man grown shit. Right. Now, this is typical E34. That's not too bad. A little bit of slop's always good. Go too tight, causes the other issues. Right. See the bolt's missing? That's where it should be, right there. Oh, sorry about that. Yep, right there. But look at the state of that. Probably do with an oil flush. It's got good oil in it. Just runs penrite like everything else. See, I actually won't tension that. I'll just put the bolt in, do it back up, put a bit of Loctite on it. We'll clean all the surface. I'll run some Loctite 567 like I run on everything. I might actually go over this surface with Scotch-Brite. But yeah, gives you a bit of an idea. Now, let me show you where E34 M60 cars leak. Right, check this out. This has got a leak. See that line in front of you? This one right here. Right, that's leaking. So that's a crimp joint, and it's like a bendy joint. Now that comes from up there. Oh, it's not going to focus. There's too much shit for it to focus on. That banjo bolt is the drain back to the sump. And that comes out right there. Alright? That's what it is. It is actually the drain back to the sump from the oil filter housing. And they always leak. This one's got a couple other little leaks as well, but that leak's got to be repaired before anything else, and that is a replacement of that line. So yeah, that's why the underneath of this car looks this bad. But yeah, give you a bit of an idea. Most M60s look like this on the inside. They've always had caked on, shitty oil everywhere. They'll do 300,000 or 400,000 Ks. This isn't a bad M60 car. This is a 540. Did have a bit of a miss last time it came in. It's got nice at 16s and stuff. This is an early one. 93 or 92? I think it's at 93 because it has traction pump and ABS pump. Right? Very, very... they don't have this traction pump here, that sucker, if they're a 94. Alright, hold on. We'll go and have a look at some other shit. Just weekly update shit. So we finally have fuel cell going into, so there you go. That gives you a good idea. It's probably about 10 litres on the bottom once it's at empty, which I'm happy with. So this is what we're doing at the moment. Fuel cell in the boot. And then I've got to start mounting battery tray. All the fuel, pump, filter, everything will go in the well. But what we've been doing, because I didn't want to do anything Sunday because I haven't actually got a lot done. So here we go. This mounts on top of the carbies. It actually mounts on top of the manifold, and this is going to be my linkage kit. All right, so I have EFI hardware. Here you go. Take note, you cheap bastards that don't want to put a little grub screw in. That there helps to make these stay on the shaft. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock them all off at a certain height because all my little adjusters, see everything's stainless for the carby linkage, everything. So I have 3 of these. And these are M5. So if anybody wants, I actually have a bunch of left and right hand thread M5 adjusters. So if anyone wants any with nuts, yeah, just hit me up. You know the drill, social media. Yeah, this is what we're doing. So all this stuff wasn't cheap. This is all my linkage kit. End of the week, I'm hoping to have that sitting on there. I need to actually get this on the mill, and this line here, that's got to be milled out, because that is where, okay, that's where the idle screw sits on the Weber. That's where the idle screw sits, and same on this one here, right? So this one here, idle screw sits about here, throats are there and there. Now, we actually have made a decision to remove the aluminium trumpets at the moment. I'm going to tune with the aluminium trumpets and with the factory 48s, and we're going to put some K&N filters on the car. So it's going to get us further ahead quicker, and this car has to be, what's the date today? We've got one more day of January, so this car will be turnkey driving in 17 days. Yeah, we've got a lot to do. It'll have floor plates done. It'll have all its fuel line in. I've still got to get rid of a bunch of insulation off the floor. See? So a little bit of rust staining, but it's not rust. It's just shit and grinding. Just metal from grinding and cutting the firewall, because we weld a plate in. So I'm going to need to treat that, because this car sat outside for a few years. I sat outside for 12 months after I put that in. So yeah, that's probably my next step. And fuse box up under the dash. It'll all go in there. So yeah, sometimes when they sit around, they just shit happens. But yeah, okay, right. Now, this is something I'd like to talk about that I learnt this week. Right, so I have modified this manifold to take the V-band. On the other short video I did, the V-band, I showed, it's a nice car. I showed that I warped a V-band. Right, so I welded the V-band on for the Pulsar Turbo. I warped it a little bit, so I cut another generic V-band and welded it on. I learned one thing: if you're going to weld V-bands on, build up the surface first, machine it off perfectly flat, and then weld the V-band on. Any kind of clearance issue with where your V-band's going to weld to will cause you nothing but bullshit issues. So yeah, I've filed this one, and I've used bearing glue, and I've worked out I've got a complete patch now, so it'll seal nicely. So yeah, you learn. This is what it's about. And another M20 in the shop. Right. This is a 2.7 that'll be going to 2.9 with the budget pistons. This will be the first one. And then we've got another couple of 2.8 cranks. We've got a bunch of M20 stuff. Hold on. We've got a bunch of M20 stuff in down here. So I'm going to build a bunch of M20 2.9s all at the same time. And I'll have a couple on the stands. Tristan the Legend dropped off a medium case 315 today. So as everyone knows, E30s is what we do. So a couple of guys that I know, just when stuff comes up, they supply it. I could always do with some more rehats. So if anyone, I don't mind if you're overseas, if you can send them. If anyone's got any medium case E30 rear hats, I'd buy a stack if they were a really good price. It's just getting a little hard to get, same as side flanges. Side flanges and rear hats for E30 medium case, that's something that we need. All right, guys. Well, hopefully next week our update should be combi motor in the back of the trike. Oh yeah, the trike's back on its wheels. So I have got a little bit done this week. It's just been, the last week's been an absolute fucking shambles. So this week, we put all this shit on. This caliper wasn't even in the right spot. This is why this wheel and the disc that was on here used to drag on the caliper. So we have reset the centre of the caliper and we have good clearance now. We have a pad in there. Doesn't matter who builds it. Everyone can have a bad day. I have shit days. Everyone has shit days. But when you're building something like that'll pass 80 hours, I don't understand how these trikes did. What I've done isn't perfect, but it'll be strong. All right. So, well, I hope you have a lovely week, and we should have a startup within 2 weeks. That's what I'm hoping for the E30 with a 2.9. Fingers crossed. Thanks, guys. You have a lovely day.